All right. Hello, everyone. And welcome to the So Free and Single with Z podcast. I am so glad that you're able to join us again. We're here for episode 4. We are 4 weeks in this already, guys. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited about just being able to share our singleness with you all. So I've got some great guests today. If you've been watching the last couple of weeks, you've seen that we have been here having some amazing conversations. So, a couple of little disclaimers out there. One, we are not love professionals. We're not single professionals. We're not the ones that are out there, with these degrees saying, hey, I'm the love doctor. But we are some regular, good, clean, single folks out here talking about our experiences and having a little fun while doing it. So we're so excited that you have joined us today and that you're going to be a part of this. So what we do encourage you all to do is to please make sure that you all chime in, ask questions, get in the chats. We would love to hear from you all. So please join us. All right. So I always want to start off with a little known dating fact. All right. So our little known dating fact goes along with our topic today. So this is the fact that I saw, and I'm really curious about this. So it said the most popular day for online dating is the first Sunday after New Year's Day. Now, that's wild. The first Sunday after New Year's Day. I wonder what that is. And so I'm thinking to myself about like what I'm doing after New Year's Day. Most of the time, yeah, Happy New Year, you bring it in. And then, you go to your first Sunday, you go to your first church service, and you're like, oh, okay, it's gonna be my year. This is gonna be it. And then now I guess after that, you're sitting there like, okay, if it's my year, I need to find Mr. or Mrs. Right, huh? Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're sitting on that couch trying to find Mr. or Mrs. Right to start that year off right. Well, online dating is where they seem to look. So that leads me to the topic for today. We are going to talk about online dating, and I'm pretty sure you all have several different experiences that you would like to share and things that you have felt from this. But I got two guests today that are going to share some things with us, and we're going to hear from you, and I know it's going to be amazing. So I'm getting ready right now to bring on my guests. All right. Hello, y'all. Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
I am amazing. I'm so glad y'all can join us today. I would love for you all to tell us a little bit about tell us who you are, where you're from. So let's introduce yourself to the people. All right. Let's start. Gregory, why don't you start?
Sure. My name is Gregory Devon out of Durham, North Carolina. I born and raised there, went to college in Greensboro, North Carolina A&T State University. All my Aggie shout out, Aggie pride. I'm 43 years of age. I enjoy life to the fullest, and I also throw events around the Triangle area geared towards getting things put together. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you for being with us. All right. It's on you, Miss Queenie.
I'm Kiyomi. I'm in Texas. I'm 45, single, but I want to give a shout out to my grandson Messiah. Happy third birthday, baby. Grandma loves you.
Aw.
Um, and yeah, I just try to move around. Yeah, we'll have that whole conversation. But hello.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we're talking about this online dating, and I know that online dating can be a little sketchy sometimes, and
Mhm.
sometimes it can be a win. I've seen situations go one way or the other. So I want to just hear a little bit from you all. And so, just what it's been like in general for you all. So whoever wants to start off and jump in there, tell me what have been your experiences with this online dating?
Ladies
I got a
first.
mixture. I've had a mixture. I've had good and bad. So it's actually funny. Yesterday, I went out on a date with a guy that I met online. And we were sitting there. We was like, hey, confirming that we were going to meet up and everything. And he was like, well, I'm all the way in this city. And I was just like, no, I'm not driving way over there. I am willing to meet halfway, but I am not willing to drive an hour out the way. And he was like, in which his comment was, but what about if I send a car for you and make sure you get there and back? And
Okay.
I've never ever had a man offer to pay for Gregory. I thought the same thing. I was like, okay. But went out. He was a gentleman. It was very casual. It wasn't uptight. It was a great experience, especially to meet someone offline because I've had the total opposite. So I'll start with my positive first. He was definitely a positive. He opened doors. He picked up the check. He made sure I got there and back. Complete gentleman. We talked about everything underneath the sun. So it was a really good experience for me that one time.
That one time.
That one time.
Okay. I like how you slid that in there. All right. Gregory, what about you?
I've never had a bad online dating experience, honestly. And I think
Oh,
that it may be because I may not approach dating the same way everybody else does. I mean, for me, you got to be more than just cute to go out with me. For me, I may meet you online, wherever that may be, whether it's social media or a dating app. But before we go out, I believe in having about 7 conversations. And if I'm not interested in those 7 conversations, I don't go. So
okay.
for me, I have actually met some amazing people. Now, it wasn't romantically, but I've met some amazing individuals like you and I were not necessarily compatible or suitable, but now we're friends.
Right.
I've never really had a bad online experience because I just believe if I can see it's not going in a romantic realm, I'll just say that. My
Right.
thing is, there's no need to beat around the bush because if I feel it, you do too. And we can just be friends, and that's fine. And I'm of the belief that the foundation has to be friendship anyway. So you never
Right.
know when you might circle back around and have a conversation again a year from now with this same person that's now your friend about, you know what, I kind of feel different now. And maybe they do too. So that's been my experience.
Well, I will say the same that I've had some good. I probably have way more good than bad, but it didn't end up like you say. Clearly, because I'm still single, it didn't end up in in a relationship. But it was. I met some good friends. Like
Right.
we still communicate. We just weren't a match, and I think that's a
Right.
big thing. A level of maturity that has to come out of this is that sometimes you're just not a match. But I probably had one I could say that was truly negative
Mhm.
experience um, that I had. But outside of that, not really. But I do. I have a comment here. Somebody says it's different for men. What do y'all think about that? It's different for men.
Well, I have heard that several times, Z, and I feel like that's a cop out in my opinion because it's
Mm,
supposed to be different for men and women because we are different genders and we approach the world different and our role and responsibility therefore is different. I think that there are those who believe that because we are men that we have it easier when now
mm,
I don't take that position at all. I don't think either of us has it easier or harder. I think it's a matter of the individual and how you're really approaching this thing. I think that what happens with women is that a woman has a more emotional attachment to the thought of being in love, right? So she's
mm.
gonna approach dating different than a man. A man is not even thinking about love before he meets you. He's not. He
Okay.
won't. He does want to connect, but he's not living in a fantasy world where he's waiting to fall in love. He's not. So he handled disappointment different than a woman does. If he goes out and it may be a bad experience,
Mm-hmm.
bother him like it bothers a woman, right? Doesn't make us any better or worse. Just means that because our approach is different, because our approach to, again, marriage, love, dating is different. It makes for a different outcome no matter how this thing goes.
Oh, what are your thoughts on that? What oh, let's hear.
I just feel like honesty is key. Like when you are talking to somebody and you're having those conversations after meeting them online, if you're not honest about
Mhm,
what your intentions are, not to say that who you're talking to is who you want to be with, but what
mhm,
are your real intentions? And online dating, there's a lot of not real intentions. They're telling you or feeding you a story that they want you to believe in to get what they want. And then
mhm,
after they get what they want, that's what we mean by it's easier for men because you guys ultimately are setting that standard. It's like that's what we come across.
And,
mhm,
and I can definitely understand that. Like, I think so. The struggle for me is I I'm dating, and people use this term a lot. I'm dating with a purpose.
yeah.
I want to date somebody that I know that's it's gonna go somewhere.
Mhm,
So I guess when I do meet someone, I'm immediately seeing is this someone that I can is it could go somewhere with.
mhm,
And you're right. I don't think men are coming at it the same way. First, they're at the stage. Do I even like you? you know, and where we're just like, I wonder, can I love you? So it is a different space to be in. Like, um, like even if I'm on a profile, if they don't say on their profile that they're ultimately looking for marriage, it's a no for me. Which means I scroll past probably 50 to get to the one that actually says that, and then they're not usually that anyway. But just my thoughts. Well, we have a question here. Somebody said, "What are those 7 conversations?" They want to know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, I'm glad she asked. I mean, so when I say 7 conversations, I mean this. I mean, before I take time out of my life to give to someone else that I will never get this time back, you got to be worth my time. You do. So my
Hmm.
thing is, if we can have 7 conversations that generally lets me know that, number one, you are sane, number one, and that, and that you're a sensible person, right? And if we've had like touch bases about 7 times, right? That might be 7 straight days. It might be 2 weeks. My thing is, I just do not believe in meeting someone today, going out tomorrow. I just don't. My thing is, at 43, I just learned that again, my time is too valuable. And again, I don't want to waste your time. I want you to waste mine. So if we're not having things in common that can be found out prior to our first date, right? Then let's not again waste time when we know that, you know what, we don't even on the phone jail very well. So it's conversations like, again, like, where are you from, what do you do? For me, do you love God? That's one of my first questions. I already know,
Yeah.
what do you do for a living? Just general questions. I can tell based upon what, like, where you go generally and what you like, if a dinner with me would be pleasant. If you don't enjoy concerts, if you don't enjoy the social scene, I'm not for you. And like, there's some people you can tell on the phone, oh, I'm a homebody. That ain't gonna work. It's
Right.
no need for us to go out because it's
No
not gonna
need.
work. So I just believe that if we get the preliminary out of the way on the telephone through these 7 conversations, and again, this is what's up for women. If a man will touch bases with you seven
Hmm.
times before going out with you, you're in a better position that this might go in your favor. Even if it ain't your husband, it won't be a bad experience.
I I can see that, and the reason why I say I can see that is because I probably so my thoughts have always been like, hey, let's get out there, let's meet right away, let's see if there's some sort of connection. And so I've always wanted to go that approach. But I will tell you, I have done it before, going out on that first date,
Right.
and then that person reveals like, oh, well, I'm a homebody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait. So you just took me out just to
Yeah,
see if what
yeah,
I was about, and then you retreated to the house. Oh, no, that's not gonna work. But now I've wasted time
yeah,
because I started to like really like, man, okay, they look good, they treated me nice, like you said. They pull out the
mhm,
chair,
yeah,
picked up the tab. Okay, all right, we're hit, and then but you want to sit at the house, and I'm
yeah,
like, I'm an active person, like
yeah.
that doesn't work. So I don't know.
So I've done both. I've done the conversations. Conversations were great over the phone. The vibe is right. We can talk. But then when I meet you, you're a totally different person.
Mhm,
You don't look nothing like your picture. So now I have wasted all of this conversation time on someone that I'm not even attracted to. And if you have to put a photo out there that is not of recent,
mhm,
and you don't look like your photo, I've wasted
mhm.
even more time. So I've done it
Yeah,
that way of having the conversations. But I'm kind of like Z. Like that's why I like trying to meet early because I want to make sure that the person that I'm talking to, the person that I'm
mhm.
getting to know, one is the person that they portray to be online. So I'm with both of
Absolutely,
y'all. I've been
absolutely.
catfished.
Well, you know
Listen.
what? You mentioned that dating with a purpose thing, right? I know we was
Uh-huh.
going to church. So with
Uh-huh.
that being said, I think that in that vein, I agree with you. My thing is this: it's what are we asking on telephone, right? If I know I'm dating with a purpose, and to your point, Queenie, about not wanting to be catfish, I'm gonna ask questions that force you to tell the truth. You can always decipher a lie, even if you don't know a person, right?
Right.
Ask them the same question 2 days from now in a different way and see what answer you get. Right now, the whole catfish look thing, that's a little sketchy because you can't really tell that sometimes. But a
Yes.
person's integrity and character, oh, I can pull that out of you, but based upon asking certain questions. And because again, we do, for me, as you said, want to date with a purpose. Again, I want to see if I ask you questions that might be birthed out of my purpose, if you might be compatible with where I'm going. Because you can tell if a person going in the same direction with you based upon how they speak, what they say, right? The content and the context of what they are saying will let you
Right.
know who they are.
And I will totally agree with that. Because if I just think about the situation I just mentioned,
Yeah,
when I ask those questions about things you like to do and places you like to go, he didn't give me no bunch of places or things that
yeah,
he like to do.
yeah,
And so I'm just thinking, okay, well, maybe he's waiting to do some things
yeah,
with that person, but he really didn't. He didn't lie,
yeah,
or it came out sooner than I just heard what I wanted to hear. I interpreted the way I wanted to interpret it. Like, okay, he's waiting to do those things with me. No, he was waiting to do nothing. So I hear that the purpose and intent, asking those types of questions that are going to bring that out are very
mm,
important, because we that, like you said, Quinny, that catfish is real.
yeah,
Okay, and the catfish, not just with this what that looks, but the
It's
whole profile.
everything. Well, I've had a guy like, okay, so I met a guy online, everything
mm,
went well. We had conversations, phone calls were great, met on in person, looked just like his picture, the height, everything was true and correct. Before I eat my food, I say grace.
Right,
He said grace. We get into some more phone conversations and talking, and then he gets to telling me how he doesn't really believe in God, and I'm like, but why was you saying grace with me? That's another form of catfishing. You're putting
right,
a persona together that you believe that I want to be the person that I need you to be just to get whatever your end game is. It's another catfish. It's another way of tricking somebody, and that's why when I date, I don't tell a whole lot of people, I don't tell a whole lot about myself. I want to get to know you. I want to get to have those questions with you. I'm not telling you what I'm looking for. Am I dating with a purpose? Absolutely. I want my person, but I tell people I'm looking for my best friend. I want that person that I can genuinely be myself with and have the most amazing time with. I'm goofy. I need someone who can handle a goofy person. I'm high energy, as we know. I am high energy. I need someone who can handle high energy, and people come off like they can handle it, but when they're in person, it's like, no, they can't. Again, you're being what I want you to be by me telling you what I'm looking for. Let me just learn who you are. And believe it or not, it comes out within the first couple of days or even the first couple of weeks. And I'm done with it. I'm like, hey, you showed me who you are. I'm good now. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next person.
Now that's an interesting point you brought up because I'm probably on the fence. I'm on the fence with just the theory of that, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. So for me, I'm one of those people who are like, I do tell right up front what I'm looking for and what I want because I have this. I know I use fear very lightly when I say that, but I have a fear of people wasting my time.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
I have a phobia of people wasting my time. That is the biggest pet peeve of mine. Don't waste my time. And I know that that is based upon a past experience of mine. So I I'm like, this is what I want. I don't want to waste time if I'm not your cup of tea. I also know that people can transform to be who you say if you give them that energy. But I also was like, is that such a bad thing if that person wants to be the things you want them to be? Because they want to do it for
Yes.
you. I think
Yes,
it's
they're not being their genuine self. You're putting a persona together for me. You're packaging yourself up. You got all these things inside, and then you put this package on, and you put a bow on it, and you deliver it to me because I told you this is what I want, right? And
Mhm.
then reality is, it's never who you were,
but if
so it's
what if
not
your
gonna
desire is
work.
to sustain that? Like I really want to be all the things that she wants me to be because I really like her.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think about that, Gregory?
Yes, Gregory.
I just think here's my thing. I think that once we cross a certain age, I think that the onus is on us to own our experiences. And I feel like men and women, we look at people and not process.
Mm-hmm.
Like corporate America has a rule that says it's never ever a people problem, it's a process problem. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, even within dating, we don't check the process that we operate in because the only way I get the same product in a business is the same process. Got to be the same. So I think that if we check, well, you know what? Okay, people are people. Some good, some bad, whatever. But how am I going about meeting, or I always say this, how well do you protect your TEA, time, energy, attention? How well do you protect that, right? Who am I giving time, energy, attention to, and why? Like women oftentimes say, well, state your intention. I don't know you. I don't have one yet because I don't know you. And when we expect a deep intent out of this stranger, like you can't expect me as a stranger to you to tell you what is my intent for our future. Will we even have one? Now I can say my intent is to get to know you, yes. But I think sometimes that even as men, there's some men who do it. Think too deeply in the very beginning, and then we end up giving time to a person that if we listen well enough, we will realize they never said anything really worth you giving them a month, giving them 30 days, right? That's why I say in those conversations, you got to put it in your favor. What do you want to find out, right?
Right.
Put those into your questions because, again, people cannot hide who they are but for so long. Human behavior will always tell on you, even
Mm-hmm.
on a deceiving person. I'm trying to tell you, they like corporate America has what they call industrial psychologists, who again phrase questions different ways to figure out are you lying or are you telling the truth. Your time got to be that valuable to you, to where you again state in these conversations on the telephone or FaceTime, whatever, right? Not what you're looking for, but I can tell you who I am without telling you who I am because I've told you what I do, where I go, the environments that I'm in, right? With the whole church thing. I don't want to ask you what church you go to. You know what I'm going to ask you? What do you do within your church? It's hard to lie about that.
Yes,
because,
it is.
again, if you look at a person, you can tell a lie. Are they looking up and to the right? They're lying.
Right.
This side has the visual cortex, right? And it's like we have to look at things to tell if the person's really lying to you or not. But again, we don't sometimes stack it in our favor.
That's a really, I like that question because that's a big deal. So like wanting to make sure that you're involved with somebody who is involved in their church, because I'm involved in my church. Like I serve in my church. So I don't need you side-eyeing me on Sunday when I'm going to the house of the Lord. So I don't need you.
All right.
I don't need you side-eyeing me because I know that that's important to me. And also, you know, somebody brought this up to me because it was somebody, one of my close friends, she brought this up to me. I said, well, is it so bad to date somebody who is, you know, just trying to figure it out or trying to, you know, figure out their place in the house of the Lord? And she brought up something that just kind of checked me. And she said, this person is supposed to be leading you. And where are they leading you if they're, you know, if they don't know God? And I said, oh, that changes my perspective, especially when it comes to a male. I mean, that may be different for a man, but for a female, if that person can't lead me to the Lord or, you know, spiritually.
If you can't naturally lead me, because it shouldn't be forced. A man who knows how to lead, a woman naturally will submit and follow.
Absolutely.
And a lot of men are quick to say, I want a submissive woman, but what are you doing to be a leader of a man to make me submit to you?
Yes.
A man has to understand the difference between taking the lead and providing leadership. They're not the same thing. When you provide leadership, you're not domineering. You're not. And I don't believe in a man subscribing to be alpha. I don't. Just be masculine.
Right.
Because a masculine man is a secure man, is a man of wisdom, right? And I know a lot of men today, words are used, you know, want a woman to submit. Masculine men, and let me say this, men of integrity would never tell a woman to submit, right?
You don't have
we
to.
Believe in it, but who we are, as you were saying, like the Bible also says, who can find a faithful man where he walks in integrity, right? So a man that walks in integrity understands, you know what, his walk with God, right, speaks for him. He never has to say, bow down. No, first of all, it's about bowing down. It's really only come into play in time of a heated disagreement where order needs to be established now. But a man has to realize, too, that he has a level of submission to his wife. He does. It says submit to one another first as unto Christ. So a good leader has to realize, you know what, I'm the CEO, but she is the COO. Because a chief operating officer, a woman understands how a house operates a lot better than a man. She does. And a man has to realize that within his leadership, right? That it does not make me less of a man to submit to my wife in this area where, you know what, I might be the breadwinner, but she handled the finances better. So while I'm the head of the home, she's the heart of the home, right? I might be bringing home the bacon, but she frying it in the pan so we can eat it.
You better try
it. Preach it out. Come on now, all the ladies. He's single, y'all. He's single. He's speaking all the right stuff, y'all. Y'all better listen up. He got his full government name on there. You better go find him on Facebook. Just saying. Go ahead, preach it out. Preach it out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick commercial break. It's getting good. It's getting fire in here. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come right back. All right. All right, y'all. We are back. Okay. And we are talking about online dating. We got a little deep for a minute here. We were talking about some roles and how I mean, but whoo, it got a little it got a little fire in here.
It
I,
did. Gregory
we
did
are
his thing.
right. Well, we're talking about the things that come out of online dating. So I want to kind of throw a question on here. So what about the whole profile thing? All right.
Mhm.
So I will say for me, like when I created an online profile, like I was pretty thorough. I said a lot of things about, who I am. I told them, I love God. I tell you that. I tell you, I'm a businesswoman. I tell you that I have, the things that those preliminary things. I have two grown children who live on their own. These type of things. I like football. I like music, and those type of the things that I like to do. And I say those. I'm looking for someone who's a man of God, who likes to have fun, likes to do these things, and then they're none of those. And then someone responds and they're none of those things. Why? Has that been your experience? Why are we doing this? Why are we wasting time?
I'm gonna let Gregory go first this time.
So why are we wasting time? I think that you have a subsection of people who are just dishonest. That's just who they are, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. But then you have another subset who I think appears like they're wasting your time when in reality they don't know what they're looking for because they haven't taken the time to know themselves.
Okay.
Right? Like Shakespeare says, to thine own self be true. And a lot of time it is hard for people to be true to themselves because they haven't spent enough time actually single. Now, I know that by definition, not married is single. That's not what I mean. I
Right.
mean, as in single, as in you're not in a relationship and you're not even dating because you're not ready for dating right now, right? There are a
Right.
lot of people that are emotionally unavailable. They are single but unavailable, and they are wasting people's time because they are not ready for this thing called dating because they get involved, they don't maneuver well. You have men who, well, their life is not together yet, right? You cannot want a queen and have no castle to put her in. You cannot want an angel and have no heaven to put her in. And there are a lot of men that are looking for a help meet, but help you with what? What do you have to help her with? Are you walking your path, right? Are you in your purpose? Do you know what purpose is? With that being said, that will cause a woman's time to be what? Wasted. Or flip it. There are some women who, like that great R&B prophet said, I'm ready for love. Why are you hiding from me in the RE?
I was about
Well,
to say that's in the hurry.
yeah, that R&B
Yes.
prophet,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
this is how I feel. It ain't about are you ready? Are you prepared? I have met some women and seen some women who you're ready for love, but I'm prepared to be a wife. Two different things. I'm ready for $1 million. Can I manage it well? Right? Right. And we don't sometimes prepare for the place that we say that we want to be. And we don't realize there are men like me who are looking at that. And that you can't approach me with the whole thing about when men are playing games. I don't hear that. I don't want to hear your bad past. I don't. Because that's not a part of who I am. That's not me. And I got no tears to cry for that. We all have a story. We do.
Right.
Today is the day that we're in now. Let's talk about now moving forward. And I think that sometimes men meet women and vice versa. And before we speak, our trauma does.
Ooh.
So in those situations, and I'm in right here, is that you got now either you trauma bond or one of y'all turned the other one away by your approach, by your being too aggressive, or maybe you were codependent or seemed that way. So I think there are a lot of unhealed people out here as well What do we say? The dating pool got pee in it. Well,
Right.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
I say this, Z, and I'm in right here. I say this. The pool is what it is, right? In a natural pool, I know how well I can swim. If I can't swim at all, let me stay in 3 feet. If I can swim a little bit, I go to 5 feet, maybe 6 feet. I will not jump into 12 feet water or beyond because I can't swim that well. So by the time you're ready to pursue a spouse, you need to be an advanced swimmer that no matter where you enter this pool, you know where you should be and how to maneuver yourself, right? If you're in the shallow end, I'm just going to fellowship and keep moving because I believe in the ships. Fellowship, friendship, relationship, courtship. If it ain't the right one, abandonship.
Right? I know that's right.
Fellowship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think we with the whole dating online thing, the whole waste of time comes because some people are just looking for one thing and one thing only. They put a persona out there, that's what they want. My therapist was like, hey, I told him, I was like, I'm looking at getting out there and dating again. Like, this is something I want to do. Like, I think I'm ready. And he's like, okay, so Queenie, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write down your top 10 characteristics of what you're looking for in your next partner. And you can only pick 10. And you have to give it a score. And the score has to come to 100. And he was like, and they have found that studies have found that if you at least find 85% of what you're looking for, the relationship will last. So when I got to write down my list, of course, I had more than 10 characteristics on here. And at this point, I'm trying to narrow it down. Now, mind you, God was number one like that. And mind you, when you're doing the score, no, you can only score two things out of 17. Everything else cannot be scored a 17. It has to be scored lower. But the total 10 has to come to 100. God for me was number one. Like you got to believe in God. You got to be God fearing. I'm understanding of your walk. I get we all backslide. I get that we all go through our own struggles. We go through it. I'm okay with that. I'm willing to work with that. But you at least got to believe in God. Like you got to love God. Like I love God. He's got to be your everything at this point. Um, but when it came down to my other 10 characteristics, it really took a lot of work out of me to realize. But I realized that I became wasting people's time because I didn't know my top 10 characteristics of what I wanted in a man, in my partner, in my next friend, my everything. And because I didn't know, I was wasting people's time, which goes back to what Gregory said. You don't know what you're looking for. So I actually took the time out, got my top 10 characteristics, and I realized I learned a lot about myself and what I need from my next spouse. And I think a lot of people should start doing that before entering into the dating pool. I believe there are good women and there are good men out there. It's just your red flag radar has to really be on and aware of what's being said to you because men and women are out there manipulating people to gain what they want for their self. And I'm tired of being manipulated. I want to take all of my dating back into myself, which is why my top 10 characteristics it was important. I don't want to waste no one time and I don't want to waste my time. Because if you can't give me 85% of what I'm looking for, why am I even here?
Well, okay. I hear y'all. I hear both of y'all. But what about those of us? What about those of us who have done the work? Okay, so we have
We're
done the
still
work.
looking.
We have prepared. We have prepared to be a wife. We have prepared to be a helpmeet. We know what we want. And we put it out there on this profile, and you still click, knowing you don't love God. You don't love God, right. And that's like that's the first thing on there. And then I asked you, I said, okay, so tell me about so my question, which now I'm going to change a little bit, but I always, tell me about your relationship with God.
Yeah.
And and they're just like, or I may just generally ask, hey, what church do you attend? And they were like, oh, I don't really do church.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, so did you not read? Did you just see this pretty face and say, I'm gonna
Yeah.
click?
That's all
Yes,
it's
that's exactly what it
yeah.
was. He
Yeah.
saw a pretty face.
Yeah.
He did not read your profile, and he swiped right. You looked at him. You read his profile, which was a bunch of lies, and you swiped right, and then you found out it was like, yeah, wasting my time.
Right. Like I see on there and it clicked Christian. I said, okay, that's a plus. All right. At least we with the Lord, and I said, we're gonna look a little deeper, but and how I just have a fundamental issue with people wasting my time. So I don't understand why you would take the time to create a whole busted profile. Like you took time out of your day to do this. And I don't understand. I like that. But you did not read.
Daniel, reading is fundamental, and a lot of them don't know how to read. I'm sorry.
And which is because I have an educator background, so I need you to be able to read. I really do. I really do. So
You know what, though, Z? There are those who may have read, right? But you have a lot of people that everybody at the church is not the same, right? And this is no disrespect to anyone, but you have people that like salvation doesn't look the same.
Yeah,
you got some people that are saved, just meaning that you are saved from the penalty of your sin, right? But you ain't liberated. you still have some stuff with you. You're saved, but you ain't delivered, right? It doesn't question that you're saved. It just means that inside of the church, we're not in the same category of level in Christ. Right? Think of like in education-wise, we could both be in college, right? You got a 4.0. I got a 2.0. We ain't the same. We're not.
Not the same.
We're in the same school. We're in the same education. We're in the same place, right? I think that there are people inside of the church that will try to improve themselves based upon linking with somebody else that they know is on another level than they are, right? And it ain't just spiritually. It's professionally, spiritually, socially, and sometimes those things become attractive to them, right?
Yeah.
So they want you to give them a chance because they're not always bad people, but they're not suitable for you. And I'm using the word suitable and not compatible because it's two different things. Like you can have a level of accountability and not be suitable, right? For a lot of people, they will see man or woman, and you know what? I see Z, man, she's smiling, she's professional. Now I see Queenie, she light-skinned,
We
right.
all like skin did.
Right.
And they find a pill, and they say, I'm gonna give it a try. And you might entertain them for a time because you don't know that they're not really here yet because you're all in the same young adult group, right? Or the same whatever, and you talk to them, whatever. And it's hard sometimes to see if you don't ask the right questions and you ain't paying attention that this person is not where you are because you are assuming that church is the common denominator, but it's God the common denominator. So now you've gone 30 days, a month and a half, whatever, and you may have even gone out with this person, but now you're starting to see, wait a minute.
Right, she said 5 non-negotiable.
Right, because hey, that was episode 2. We talked about them non-negotiables and preferences.
Listen.
But it's funny because go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that it's funny you say all of that because even on my first dates, I don't even want to go to dinner. take me somewhere where we can show how we like. Take me putt putt. I'm competitive. When you
Come
get
on.
someone to get to
Me
be in their
too.
competitive nature and they
Yeah.
get to be outside and comfortable and
Yeah.
enjoy, it's like you learn so much more about them. You learn if they got tempers. You learn if they know how to enjoy themselves. Like dinner, you can still be a representative. Let's go
Yeah.
somewhere where we have to actually interact.
You want to know another
That-
good one, Queenie?
Huh?
About your panic room?
oh wow, yeah.
Ooh, or even a rage room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so with a panic room, so I remember I had a couple one time. I suggested them to go to a panic room because you learn a different level of what's called experiential intimacy, right? Because that's when you work together to accomplish something. See
Mm,
how well that you guys can work through a problem. It'll show you who's a leader, who's a thinker, who can think critically. It'll show you who angers easily because you got all these uncontrolled variables. And if I
yeah,
become upset, it's not at you, it's
right.
situation. Because there's sometimes in relationships where a moment happens, it ain't your fault, it ain't my fault. It's just something happened, like life happened. It'll show you
Absolutely.
who handles the unexpected well and how you can communicate with me in these heated, what I call heated fellowship moments.
You know the panic room
Yes.
gonna be my first dates now on. Thank you, Gregory. I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
use that one now on. But it eliminates wasting time though, because you learn a lot
yeah,
about somebody.
yeah,
Dinner, they
I
still
like
have
that as
that
well.
representative on. It's
yeah,
like, oh, we do dinner and drinks. Yeah, you have your representative on.
yeah,
Let's take it out of.
yeah,
Let's change it up.
yeah,
I
But I
do
like
like
the panic room.
yeah,
that. I like that. I like that. Or the escape rooms, the all those different things. Yeah, let
yeah.
me see how you handle you're under pressure.
Let me see if you know how to lead.
There
Right.
you go. There you
Absolutely.
go. Because I
Right.
mean, 'cause like I said, like I'm probably very hard on men
Right.
because I'm not one of them people that I'm not gonna throw fluff at women, right? I ain't gonna Steve Harvey you. I'm not,
Right.
and give you all these rules that you should look for. I'm gonna tell you, no, do not think like a man, because you a woman. And the Bible says, so a man think in his heart, so is he. You are a woman, and God designed you to be the more delicate vessel, as the word of God says. It might say weaker vessel in some translations, but what does that mean? That means you were not built to carry the weight that the man carries. That's why you're the weaker vessel, right? That's no harm at all. It just means that you need a man who understands I'm gonna carry this as the stronger vessel and not let her have to be boggled down with that, right? And I always say social media and Steve Harvey and a lot of and I love Steve Harvey, but they throw this fluff where it's not conducive to those in the church. It's not the 30-day rule and no, I'm sorry, 90-day rule. Excuse me. All this stuff. What does that really mean, right?
Right.
I mean, if it's the job, yeah, okay, 90 days for benefits. Well, if you have viewed sexual intimacy as a benefit, you have already missed the meaning that God
Mm,
designed for sex because you're saying it's been 90 days, you owe this to me.
right. You on the clock.
What did God
Right,
say?
right.
If you like it, you should have put a ring on it. But if ain't no ring on it, no, this is not, this somebody else's wife. Take your
Right.
hands off of her, right? But
Wow.
we're
Wow.
subscribing to a lot of these things that are not, I ain't meant to go to church. I'm sorry, but this is how I feel sometimes. We got all of this stuff. This ain't gelling well with me.
Right. Right. No, this is all good. This is real. Like I love this that we're bringing out. Not only it's not just the online profile, and it's
Yeah,
beyond that,
yeah,
because once you get beyond that profile and you actually get to interact with these people,
yeah,
you have got to have some standards in place. You've got to
yeah,
know who you are. And I guess when you talk about, because we've mentioned a lot tonight about wasting time,
yeah,
that's on both
Yeah.
of our ends when you think about it,
Mhm.
you know. am I wasting my own time by investing so much in somebody I don't know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I, and that's hard. That's a hard thing to swallow because I personally, I'm some who if I like you, like I'm on it. Like I'm like, okay, I'm
I'm
forward
giving you
moving.
my energy.
Yeah, because I'm not giving you a representative. So because I'm not giving you a representative,
Mm-hmm.
I am naturally a compassionate person. I'm naturally an affectionate person. I'm naturally want to know things about you like in real life.
Right.
So and I'm going to give you what I would give you.
Mm-hmm.
But am I don't know. What's that fine line about doing that too soon? To me, not doing that is not is a representative because that's not who I would be. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to show you who I would be. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I mean, so that's the hard thing for me coming off of the
Yeah.
online is I when I created that profile, I was genuine, like I was for real.
Right.
Like that's what I thought we were all supposed to be doing. Now
Right.
I'm not naive to think that there are people out there playing games, like but there were a lot more playing games than I thought there would be.
Yeah.
So and those who actually took the time and filled out all the lines and boxes, I said, oh, okay, all right, because I don't even fool with people who don't have all everything filled out.
Yeah.
You ain't got time. I ain't got time. So you filled all this out. You
Yeah.
did all this line already.
Yeah.
So
But you're
that's
doing everything you're supposed to do. You're being your full,
Um,
genuine self. There's nothing wrong. There's no time label. There's no timetable on it. Be you because you are that person. And if you can't be you and you get confined in the box, then how is it really going to work? Because now you're confining to what they are expecting you to move. Be
yeah.
you. I'm going to be me. When
Yeah.
you've been in a place where you have to build yourself up out of some things, and I feel like when you're dating, you have to have you have to have friends, you have to have
Mhm.
your own social life. You have to have family. You got to have all of these key elements put in place so that you can have a very healthy dating life because that's what makes you get trapped into just falling for these people who are just on there looking for one
Mhm.
thing because you're so lonely. When you have a good balance of everything going on in your life, you can really start to take away, but always be you. I'm never going to stop being me. I'm a super affectionate person. I'm a huggy, kissy person. I'm
Yeah.
a let me be all over you person. Like I want to talk on the phone. Like
Yeah.
let me be her because if I'm her, you're seeing Queenie. You're seeing me. But if I have to be timid and I have to think about what I'm saying to you or how I move or what I'm doing, if it's too soon,
Mhm.
it just becomes too much pressure and it's no longer genuine.
right.
But you know what? You said something earlier, Z, about when you said when people come to the table and have that stuff together, what is the issue? I think that we have fooled ourselves into thinking that because I have it together, then that makes the experience easier for me. It doesn't, because you can have yours together, I can have mine together, right?
Mm-hmm.
We come to the table and we still have a challenge, but the expectation was no, it got to work now. He's right, I'm right. It's supposed to work. In what world? Because you still gonna have a challenge with a perfect person for what perfect for you rather. So I say this: we can have it together, but still not have our desire under control, right?
Yeah.
And there's some time where people who have it together, they attempt, but they're not moving in a manner that's conducive for both parties.
Mm.
And one of these people feels like, well, this should be moving along faster than this. And the
Yeah.
other one feels different, like there's no issue at all, right?
Right.
You have some women, this is no offense to anybody, who feel like if you don't meet her and see all of her worth in the first 7 days, then you playing. You don't see her
Mm.
worth, then you have all of these stories going around that I despise. That, oh well, a man knows in 30 days. What? He
Yeah.
know what he knows.
Yeah.
All you have these stories that are fooling women to think that it's supposed to be love at first sight, and that and we get super deep. God is in a season of expeditiously, and God is. I'm like, shut up, because we are. That's not good theology. It's not.
Right.
No man knows exactly how God or when God will move. And it's like we're telling people that, well, this man, these men should know first sight that you're his wife, because you're already a wife before you get married. And I have my own theory behind that I will not get into on this show. But my thing is,
we'll table that for episode 2.
Right.
We get real deep, right? And that turns people off. So it's not that we were not compatible, we weren't suitable, because we got deep, but my stuff together and your stuff together.
Right.
But we found a problem. Why? Because we're listening more. This is for Christian singles. You are listening more to society than you are your Bible. And you're going by what society is telling you. But even inside of the church, sometimes these love at first sight stories take the forefront, and they stop you from thinking critically. Even in the Bible, they spent a year before they got married. That's Bible. Like Joseph was betrothed to Mary. He spent a year before they got married. So what makes you think this man supposed to marry you in 30 days? Now, if that's somebody's story, God bless you. Yeah. And I wish you well blessings upon your dreams. But that is not going to be everyone's story, and that is causing people to rely more on fantasy than their faith or their rationale.
Oh. Wow.
Man, I'm just trying to be like Ruth and Naomi. I'm just waiting for my Boaz to come my way. That's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my Boaz to find me and be like, hey, let me bless this woman with,
You don't want no Boaz.
I need my king to come find me.
Boaz married Ruth out of obligation. It had nothing to do with love. And Boaz and Ruth is not the greatest romantic story. It was about Boaz was her kinsman redeemer, and in order for Ruth to lay claim to her late husband's stuff, she had to marry his relative to be able to have anything, because in that day a woman could either be a slave or a prostitute if she wasn't married. So that you don't, I say, if anything, you want an Adam, a man who will recognize who you are to him, and will state the intention. You are bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, right? Now, that might not be on an initial meeting as it was with Adam, but I'm saying within reason, a man who recognizes your place in his life and has something for you to help him with.
Wow.
Okay, Gregory, go ahead.
Listen.
Go ahead. I'm gonna look for my Adam now. Okay, teach me, educate me.
Listen. Well, listen. Time flies when you're having fun. I will tell y'all that.
Yeah, it does.
Time flies, and y'all. Today we talked a lot about our online day, but we talked about once we got offline too. And so I want to thank my guest today for joining us. Oh wow, I gotta share these couple of comments. Somebody said, I wish people would let that story go. And I wish single. Some good stuff. Oh my God. Oh wow, yeah. We got a lot. So that, man, Greg, we gotta have you back, because there's some questions out there for you.
Look, and Boaz was 80, Ruth was 40.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I don't need look, well, that's a whole other topic for another day too, because boy, oh boy, do I have and my friends will probably laugh when you say that, when it's concerning me. All right. So thank you all. Thank you so much, Gregory. Thank you, Queenie, for joining us today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Enjoy myself.
All right.
I enjoy y'all.
We're gonna close out today. And as I close out today, I want to just thank you all for, first of all, for joining us today. Thank you for just joining this conversation about being online, and it could be a scary place, but if you know who you are, that's the great thing. You know who you are. You don't have to worry about what somebody else is doing. You have to know your standards, stick to your standards, be you. Okay. And keep being you. And it's not all bad out there. If nothing else, you may gain a good friend. Okay. So don't think that going online is just the most horrible thing. It's not. So next week, I hope you come back and join us because we've got another fire topic next week. Next week, let's see what we're talking about next week. Next week, we're talking about, so do we go together or not? Okay. This kind of really is a great segue from this topic here, because now that we've been talking, we've had conversations, but what are we? Okay. So we're going to talk about that. I got some more guests coming in next week. It's going to be great. I can't wait until then. But until next time, join us back next week, Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. here on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. We'll see you with the So Free and Single with Z. Thank you again.